Hey Year 10s, this is Miss Ralph, and I am lucky to be down in the film and TV room with the amazing Mr. Nully, and we're having a little practice on how to do recording for the Year 10 Romeo and Juliet task.
So basically, guys, when you frame your actors, you want to give, if you imagine rules of third, you can Google it, but the idea is that you have a left, a middle, and a right side of frame. So in your frame, you want to put your actor either on the left or on the right, and that way with that leftover space, you can put content so when they're talking, you can have a visual that matches. It's also a less confrontational angle. This
is an interview, right? So it's conversational. And also, I am looking... I'm actually looking what we're calling past camera. Thanks for that.
That's right.
That's awesome. And so that's not really awkward looking directly at the viewer. I mean, Hollywood interviews don't happen like that.
No.
Most interviews don't happen like that.
No.
So we're looking off camera. We've got decent lighting. If you don't have a green screen at home, that is totally fine. Just find somewhere quiet at home. Any tips for a background at home, Mr. Nully?
A background shouldn't be visually distracting. So a background should be either simple or pleasing to look at. So nothing too loud. If you're going to film in your bedroom, make sure your bedroom is clean.
That's a good tip.
And the other thing is, if you want to try and cheat a green screen look, just find a wall in your house that has a solid color that's evenly lit and is not the same color as the clothing you're wearing. You want to find either something that might be white, blue, or green.
Another tip, Year 10s, is that it is okay to have your notes with you. I have some notes printed here. Obviously, I'll try to be as natural as I can. You can see I'm using my hand gestures as well. But yeah, try not to be robotic in your answers to make it as authentic as possible.
Thanks for joining us. What was it like to play Juliet?
Well, it was absolutely amazing, and thanks for having me here today. I mean, who wouldn't love playing Juliet? She's absolutely iconic.
Is Juliet a typical Elizabethan woman, do you think?
Actually, she's not. First and foremost, she's not really a woman yet at all. We have to remember that Juliet is still a girl. Let's not forget that her father says, "Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride," which tells us that even her dad felt that she was too young to be married at the time. And it's important to note that this Juliet's age, she's 13, it would have been shocking for Elizabethan audiences, as it is for us now too, because it was actually legal for 12-year-olds girls to marry and 14-year-old boys to marry at the time, but it was not typical, it wasn't usual. But we know in the play that Paris is not happy with this idea of waiting 2 more years. So he continues to try and convince Lord Capulet to get the consent for Juliet's hand in marriage. And he says, "Younger than she, our happy mother's maid." But what you have here is that historically, Elizabethans were aware of the dangers of childbirth for really young women. So they actually tried to delay pregnancy until women were around 16. So thankfully at this point in the play, Lord Capulet rejects the argument and he says, "And too soon marred are those so early made." So the use of the word marred here implies that he is aware that marriage could potentially really damage Juliet. The reality is that either way, Juliet's fate is clearly in the hands of these powerful men, because decisions about her future are being talked about without her involvement at all. That was actually really exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking to do. So Year 10s, it's really important to remember, guess what? I have my water bottle sitting here. You don't have to do this in one take. I did have my notes here, but what I found was that I know the play very well. So sometimes my answers become even better when they're a little bit improvised. Of course, if you feel like you've missed some of your key evidence, just go back, I'm using my hands to do this. You do not have to do that for quotes. It might get a bit over the top as well, so don't over rely on that. We know you're giving a quote if you introduce it properly by saying, when Lord Capulet says. Final tips for you. I had quite a few mistakes here when I would suddenly look from Mr. Nully to the camera, and it was awkward as. So do a few practice runs to get used to focusing on that person. The last thing we might show you is you may want to edit in a different angle into your final take. So we'll try to set up a different angle and see what that looks like. Year 10s, we're back with a different angle here. So hang on a minute. The green screen won't work for me though now, will it?
Correct.
Because it's got other stuff in it.
This is just a kind of like a behind the scenes shot that you can cut to.
A behind the scenes, yeah, awesome. So we're on the set, and now you can actually see our awesome lighting that we have. So at home, what could you improvise with? Could you get lamps or?
Yeah, you can use lamps, you can use props.
Awesome, okay. Well, good luck, grade 10s. Have fun with it.